Police investigate shooting that injured four people in West Baltimore Friday. This is from WJZ CBS Baltimore, published June 18th, 2022 at 4:32 p.m. Baltimore City police say multiple people were shot in the 1800 block of West Lafayette Avenue on Friday. Officers were called to the area around 10:30 p.m., where they found a 50-year-old woman, a 33-year-old man, and a 46-year-old man suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. Additionally, police determined that a 21-year-old woman was driving in the area of the 1800 block of West Lafayette Avenue when she was shot. All victims have non-life-threatening injuries. So, I'm reporting on this story because all shooting victims are facing a tragedy. Anytime anybody is shot, their life changes forever. You never know if they'll have permanent damage. You'll never know if they need amputations. You'll never know if they need psychological help. And these people were very old when they got shot. 50, 33, 46. I know 33 isn't that old. I'm only 2 years shy of that. But, it's crazy that this level of violence can continue to happen in the richest nation in the world. America continues to prove to be the embarrassment. But Baltimore is no stranger to mass shootings because just a few months ago, in fact, less than a month ago, 4 dead, 3 injured, including teens, in multiple weekend shootings in Baltimore. It's getting out of hand. By Leah Skene, Lilly Price, and Mary Carole McCauley of the Baltimore Sun, published May 30th, 2022 at 11:57 a.m. So, on a busy Saturday night at the Inner Harbor over Memorial Day weekend, crowds of people enjoying a warm evening downtown started running frantically for cover after gunshots rang out in the amphitheater area along the waterfront promenade. 2 teenage victims were hospitalized and 1 later died, police said. They were both 17, a boy named Neil Mack, who was pronounced dead, and a girl who was in stable but serious condition hours after the shooting, according to Baltimore police. The violence continued as 2 other men were killed in a triple shooting later Saturday night, and a woman was shot and killed early Sunday. A 15-year-old boy shot later Sunday morning is in stable condition. I wonder where the good guys with guns were. I thought that was the cure for all of these mass shootings. We just need more people with guns to stop the good guys with guns, right? Or I guess not. Americans don't care about other Americans because we continue to let guns perforate our society. They continue to permeate in our society. The double shooting at Inner Harbor was reported around 7:35 p.m. in the 300 block of East Pratt Street. Shell casings were visible scattered across the brick amphitheater. Police quickly cordoned off the area with yellow crime tape, crisscrossing the walkway that usually would be crowded with tourists and families. Speaking at the scene Saturday night, Baltimore Police Commissioner Michael Harris said police officers working in the downtown area heard the gunshots and ran toward them, located the victims within seconds, and started rendering aid. He said the shooting followed some sort of confrontation in the area and 1 or more suspects fired shots. It's unknown whether either of the victims were intended targets, he said. Police also were unsure whether the 2 victims were together or had any connection other than being in the area when the confrontation unfolded. The shooter or shooters fled the scene and remained at large late Saturday night, Harris said. Once again, this is an unnecessary tragedy that has happened. It's about young people carrying guns and using them in crowds, Harrison said. It's about them having total disregard for human life and a total lack of respect for law enforcement. This is not shocking, but frustrating and angering. You know what it's also about? It's about the adults that allow this to happen. How many more children have to die in schools? How many more children have to be at the party and another teenager lets it off in the party, or there's a drive-by outside the party, or some kids get into a fight in the parking lot and they go to the trunk, get the gun and let it ring, and now somebody has to sit in a wheelchair for the rest of their life, or somebody's daughter or son is not coming home. How about instead of blaming it on the kids, how about we actually, as the adults of the society, change our society? Because this Second Amendment bullshit is the reason that we continue to see our children come home in body bags. There have been 317 mass shootings in America since the start of this year. It's almost like 2 per day. 2 per day. 2 per day. Our country is literally like a war zone. It's literally like a war zone. Harrison said about 20 Baltimore police officers were in the area when the shooting unfolded, part of a Memorial Day weekend deployment strategy that will continue through Monday. But the commissioner also noted that more officers alone won't stop gun violence, as the shooting Saturday night demonstrated. And by the way, we should also protect police. Blue lives matter. Blue lives matter. So let's get the guns out of the streets to protect the police. This is ridiculous. This is about them doing this right in front of the police, he said. So it's a bigger conversation than deployment. A youth organization where the team worked as an intern wrote on an Instagram post that organizers are angered, shocked, and deeply saddened by his death. Neil was a funny young man, a leader, reads the post by the Tendia Family, a grassroots organization that works with kids on neighborhood improvement projects. Yes, Neil was stubborn, moody at times, and struggling to find his way like most teenage boys, but he had great potential. He told of his dreams, he took accountability for his mistakes, and though he appeared tough, beneath that was a young man that was genuine, sensitive, and loving if you earned his trust. The boy had spoken with organization members just hours before his death, the post says. As we reread our last conversation, we can't help but think, what more could Tendia have done? The post says. We ran out of time. 3 other people were shot and killed in the city Saturday night through Sunday morning. A triple shooting in the Elwood Park neighborhood in East Baltimore killed a 31-year-old man and a man whose age is unknown. Officers arrived around 10:50 p.m. at the 400 block of Northeast Avenue and found 2 men inside a car. The unidentified man who died at the scene and a 35-year-old man who was shot in the leg and taken to a hospital. The 31-year-old man was located nearby and was pronounced dead at the Johns Hopkins Hospital. Rosaline Haywood, 69, was sitting on her front stoop on Northeast Avenue, chatting with several neighbors Saturday night when she heard a fast pop, pop, pop coming from somewhere terrifyingly nearby. I walk with a cane, Haywood said, but my legs can move when they have to, and they got me in that house. A bullet has no one's name on it, especially at that time of night. I've lived on this block for years, and I'm tired of seeing so many people killed. This has got to stop. Unfortunately, Miss Haywood, it won't. Because the men of our society love the rifle, love the pistol, more than they will ever love other people in their society. Unfortunately, Miss Haywood. Unfortunately, America has decided that the love of the phallus, of the pistol, is more valuable than the lives of dead children in a school, dead children in Baltimore, at the cost of senior citizens, caught in the crossfire of these people with guns. It's not a mental health problem of the deranged people who will get guns. It's a mental health problem of the people who allow this society to continue to exist like this. Get rid of the guns, please. Abolish the Second Amendment. In a nearby home, someone had tacked up a hand letter sign in a window reading, Black Lives Matter. Black lives absolutely matter. And part of the movement for Black Lives mattering, should be getting rid of the guns, Maryland Transportation Authority police found a woman early Sunday morning who died from gunshot wounds inside a car in the Brooklyn neighborhood of South Baltimore. Baltimore paramedics arrived around 5:20 a.m. at the 3400 block of South Hanover Street and pronounced the woman dead at the scene. The woman was killed just before dawn in a mostly industrial neighborhood that Drew Pumphrey, 46, says locals referred to as the Brooklyn Delta because it often seems immune from the crime surrounding it. Sunday afternoon, a crowd of well-dressed revelers spilled outside the Hanover Bar and Restaurant for a 50th birthday celebration, drinking beer and feasting on ribs. Pumphrey, who owns the Hanover, has heard that the shooting took place in the nearby park and ride lot. We rarely, if ever, have problems, he said, but that park and ride is woefully underutilized and caters to some unsavory characters. I hate to say it, but 90% of the crime here is targeted. Most of the victims are people in the game, in the drug trade. It's disheartening because we've been trying to make good changes in this neighborhood. A 15-year-old boy was shot in the body around 11:40 a.m. Sunday in the Berea neighborhood, East Baltimore. Emergency medical services took the teen to a hospital where he is in stable condition. Police believe the shooting occurred on the 1300 block of North Luzerne Avenue. A few hours later, the only visible sign of the shooting was the large, jagged hole in the window of a small business located on the corner. It almost looked as though a shark had taken a bite from the plate glass. A chair in front of the window had been overturned. Wendy Thuku, 54, said that's the same corner where Dante Breeden, 24, was fatally shot April 6th. It's not uncommon to see drugs being sold on that street, she said, and some of the teens and young men involved in the business have big mouths on them. By the way, I want to give my stance on drugs. By the way, I think we should legalize federally marijuana, of course, but I think there should also be legalization of all drugs, honestly, because the cocaine trade that we, as Americans, by the way, Americans are the number one consumers of cocaine, and I think also Australians and people in the UK, people in the West love cocaine. I mean, the industry is bigger than ever. I'm not a partaker of cocaine, but we can't continue to say cocaine is bad and continue to let Americans buy it and spend billions and billions of dollars on it, causing more violence in South America, Latin America, and around the world. Uh, and also trouble in our country. If we legalize federally, I believe, marijuana and do something about cocaine and the other hard drugs, where it's not criminalized, I think we can definitely lower the amount of violence. This because what's happening now isn't working, right? The war on drugs is not working. Americans, if we don't want to continue to see violence in our streets and also in Latin America and South America, how about we stop buying weed and cocaine illegally, right? That's one of the reasons I don't smoke weed, honestly. If I'm going to be 1,000% honest, because I wanted to do a video about that, I don't smoke weed because I don't want to support the industry that creates marijuana illegally. I'm living abroad, and of course, in this part of the world, in Turkey, marijuana is definitely illegal. So how it gets to us, a lot of people have to suffer to get the marijuana that I would smoke. But I don't smoke it, because I don't want to be a part of the process, the industry that allows these things to happen. How many people are exploited? The farmers who grow marijuana and cocaine are exploited. The people who traffic it are exploited. The only people who make money in the cocaine industry are the people at the very, very top. And those people have no love for other human life. They'll kill anybody who gets in the way of the dollar. And I don't support that industry. Anyway, I'll continue. Thuku knows firsthand the toll gun violence can take. In 1974, when she was 6 years old, her mother was murdered 2 days before Christmas. Every day I pray for my kids, Thuku said. By the grace of God, all 4 of them have survived. Mayor Brandon Scott said in a statement that he is sickened that this plague continues to grip our city. I will continue to push every public safety agency to do more, but it will also require all of us to collectively say enough is enough, that we're not going to accept or allow violence in our city. The mission is to build a safer Baltimore requires all of us to lean in because the stakes are too high and the need too urgent. The shooting at the Inner Harbor occurred while organizers of a festival celebrating Indian culture were cleaning up and disassembling their equipment after hours of revelry in McCauley Plaza, just across Light Street from the harbor. The Hare Krishna festival had concluded, but several organizers were still in the area when the gunshots rang out. One man said he heard the shots, looked up, and saw a man with a gun. He said the shooter then pulled his hood up, climbed onto a dirt bike, and rode away. People hit the deck, some with young children just hit the ground, others were running, the man said. He asked to remain anonymous out of concern for his safety. Police said investigators are still working to determine whether the person fled on foot or via some sort of motorized vehicle. It's getting out of hand, said the witness, adding that one of his family members was recently the victim of a carjacking. Another young man who identified herself as Lilly said she and her friends were sitting near the water when the shooting started right in front of them. After quickly realizing this wasn't fireworks, they took off running east down Pratt Street, she said. Police kept the area cordoned off for hours Saturday night as throngs of people strolled past the crime tape, some wondering aloud what was going on. Parents watched their children to make sure they didn't accidentally tumble into the crime scene. Couples dressed for dinner walked by holding hands and carrying leftovers. Kids on dirt bikes sped through traffic. Harrison said police know a lot of people witnessed the shooting, and he called on them to come forward and help detectives solve the case. We are counting on you, he said. Anyone with relevant information about this incident is asked to call detectives at this number. All right, so once again, America is proving itself to be the embarrassment of the world. We allow people to get guns legally, which are then sold illegally, which then permeate our society. We need to have a de-rifleification of America. How many more children have to die? If you would rather attack me for using a mass shooting term to describe a situation where 4 people got shot and you want to get mad at me, how about you do this? Evaluate why you're not mad that this continues to happen and why you'll continue to see me, because I'm going to continue to cover these types of topics. You'd rather be more mad at me for talking about mass shootings rather than trying to stop the mass shootings in the greatest country in the world, right? You guys can have America. You can keep it. It's getting real trash. My name is Simon Hill. Thank you. And oh, by the way, I hope everyone who is shot fully recovers. All right? We need peace in our streets.